Conscious Spirit Media.
I came into yoga about 6 years ago. I actually used to, when I was a kid, I always used to kind of do gymnastics and dance and kind of like make fun shapes, and for me that was like when I was in my flow and I would just be really in the moment and had loads of fun with it. And then I guess when I got a bit older, I was never really like a stressed out person. I went to university and I was never really like a stressed out person, but when I got into the workplace I really felt like I needed something, you know, I needed that thing you have when you're a kid and you're playing and you're in your flow, and I didn't really have that. And I started going to yoga classes and I started doing my own at-home yoga practice, and it really grounded me. It really made me feel very calm and helped me sleep and stopped me from being kind of so anxious and stressed, things that just were quite new to me. And so I kind of kept doing yoga whilst I was working, and I worked at a job in the City of London. I had a really corporate job in marketing for a law firm, an international law firm. I actually studied law at university, decided I didn't want to be a lawyer because I just thought it wasn't for me, but then stuck with the lawyers for some reason and went to do marketing for a law firm, and it was really intense, and it was really long hours and really stressful, and that's when, you know, yoga was becoming even more important, and I was like really falling in love with it, you know, and I was passionate about it. And then I was, you know, not so passionate about my job and what I was doing, and because I wasn't so passionate about my job, I was then looking to other things for release. So yeah, I was doing some yoga, but I was also going out and partying a lot in London, feeling really bad then, like on a Monday morning, you'd been out all weekend, and that was kind of when I first was like the first couple of years of living in London, I was really had a not so like healthy lifestyle. And so I just started to turn more to yoga. That had always been there, but not perhaps on the level that it should have been. But whilst I was working in these kind of corporate jobs, I really found it difficult to fully immerse myself in like the yogic lifestyle, you know, and I was really burning the candle at both ends. And so I just decided that I had to really go for it. I had to quit my job and I had to leave, and I was really quite senior for my age, you know. At 25 I was director of a really small company in the city, and you know, earning very good money and successful, I guess, in some people's view, but not successful for how I felt. You know, I didn't feel happy. Yeah, exactly, I wasn't happy. And so I decided I was actually given an opportunity for a promotion, and then that was when I was like, no, I'm not going to take it. I'm going to leave and go to India. and so I left, and like a couple of months later, and I booked. I was going to do like an Ayurvedic yoga massage course, which is a type of massage that I tried when I was kind of going through this shift when I was living in London. And I went to a woman in London called Purnima, who's amazing, and had this Ayurvedic yoga massage, and I didn't really know much about it, but I was interested because it combined yoga with Ayurveda, which is an ancient Indian science based on herbs, based on massage, herbal medicines. And so I was interested, and I tried it, and it was the best experience I'd ever had. I went into the deepest meditation I'd ever been in, and I had just, I can't find the words to describe that massage. It it was, you know, like life-changing, like things were lifted. And I actually got really ill for 5 days after the massage. Like all this stuff was just coming out of me. And then I was like, I need to know how to do this. Like she's just had such an amazing impact on me. And I've always been interested in massage and healing. And I just thought I have to learn how to do this type of massage. So that's what I decided to go to India to do. And I was traveling and I was on a motorbike and seeing, you know, all these amazing communities of people who are just like living so basic but so happy, and they're like living from the land, and that really changed my perspective a lot as well. And then I was ready. It was sort of end of January and I was ready to start. I was about to then go on and start my course, and I got a call from back home, and my mum was very sick, and she had cancer, and it was terminal, and I had to obviously quit everything and come back home. So this is about a year ago now, and I came back from India before I got to do any of this stuff that I'd planned. I travelled, but and I came back and like looked after my mum while she was dying, and I kind of took on the role. I'm the youngest in my family. I'm the youngest of 3, but I took on the role of like holding everything together, and that was quite a lot to take on. But it just kind of I did it, and then and for me, meditating and my yoga practice, I didn't have much time to do it because I was looking after my mum, but I had like 15 minutes in the day, 20 minutes maybe to myself, and I did some meditation and I did some yoga, and it like really balanced me out. It helped me to understand the things that were going on, and it basically was, you know, my saviour. It kept me sane throughout that whole period. And then my mum died on the 26th of February last year, and I didn't know what to do then after that, because I wanted to be there for my dad and for my family. And then 2 months went past of me just being at home, and I was just like, I have to go back and finish, you know, what I started. So I went and qualified then and became, I spent some time at different ashrams in India healing and just looking after myself, and learning all of these amazing things that I didn't know about. So all these different types of yoga and all these different meditation techniques and pranayama, breathing exercises, and really cleared out a lot of stuff in myself, and helped to understand what had happened with my mum. And then after that, after some time at different ashrams, then I felt ready to actually start learning some things myself. And then I studied this Ayurvedic yoga massage, and I then qualified to become a yoga teacher. I studied at a place in the Himalayas called Abhinam Yoga School and studied Ashtanga yoga and did all of these, you know, these amazing things. And then when it came to coming back to England and setting myself up, the main thing that I'd learned was that, you know, these things can be thrown at you, and you can really kind of go to rock bottom and feel really vulnerable and feel really weak. But you can do these things. You can do yoga, you can do meditation, or whatever it is for you. Everyone's different, and you can really connect with that inner warrior inside of you, and you can really just find that inner strength. Even when you're at the lowest point, it's always there, and it's just about taking some time to find it. And so when I was setting up my business, I called it Warrior Mode Yoga, not because it's the strongest type of yoga and, you know, it's physically strong, but it's about connecting to your inner strength. So that's what I always remind people when I do a class, when I do a yoga class and teach. I always remind people to connect to that or even through the Ayurvedic yoga massage, it's about helping people to connect to that and feel strong again. Sorry, I just talked for ages.
It's amazing. No, it's really like I'm listening. It's just, wow. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good.
Sorry.
It's amazing, definitely.
Have you got to go?
No, that's amazing. I'm like, wow.
Did I just answer all the questions in one?
Almost.
I think for me, yoga has been almost like a portal to another place, and it can take me out of whatever's going on around me at the moment. If it's sometimes, it's not always good stuff that's going on, and it can take me to a place that's really calm and a place that I can always return to. I can always return there, and it's always the same. It's the same stillness. And it really, but in a way that's kind of strange that I say that, because it's not a portal to somewhere else. It actually brings you into the here and now. So usually, I guess, with our minds and everything, we're worrying about something, that's happening, or something that's happened before, or something that might happen in the future. And for me, yoga has really, and for everyone, for anyone, it can do this. It can bring you into this moment right now. And it's very rare that in this moment right now, there's something that's going wrong. It's usually the mind remembering something that's just happened, or something that might happen. And then the mind's creating all these situations, and that's creating the stress, that's creating the anxiety. And that's creating the bad health from the stress and the anxiety. So what yoga can do, what it did for me and what it can do for everyone, is to really bring you into this moment right now and bring your awareness here, and to stop you from creating all of this stress that we all have. And I think that is what's drawing so many people to yoga now, because people have gotten to a point where the stress levels are, really, really high, and it's becoming more well known that yoga can do this for people. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone can start yoga, and everyone should. And unfortunately, there is an image of yoga, and you always see these really, flexible people with perfect bodies and kind of crazy shapes. That's not what yoga is. Yoga is actually every part of your life. It's a way to think, and it's a way to eat, and to be. And you can be doing yoga just by sat on your bed. You can just be sit, and you can focus on your breath. You can maybe do some breathing exercises in the morning. If you spend like 2 minutes doing some breathing exercises in the morning before you go to work, you're doing yoga, and you're really going to help your stress levels. You'll probably produce your productivity at work that day. So it's definitely not just for spiritual people. It's not just for these super flexible, thin, fit people. It's for everyone, and it's really important that everyone knows that and feels like they can join a yoga class and not feel excluded, like it's some separate thing. And it's more we're seeing more corporate yoga classes, and those are the places that need it the most, I think. If you practice every day, you'll generally feel more calm. I think you become more accepting. So usually in yoga we practice non-resistance through the body. So not resisting, you might be in a difficult posture, trying to not resist the posture and trying to release a little bit in the body, release into it, and then taking that and then using that off the mat, using that in your life. So something difficult happens and you know, but just, okay, release into it and accept it if you can. Acceptance is quite a big word, but non-resistance, maybe that's easier for people. And you can start to have this more tolerant attitude in life. And then the stress won't be there, you know, when things don't go your way, because things don't. They never do. They can't all the time. So I think that's a big shift that you'll see if you practice yoga every day. Breathing practices are really powerful because the breath is an anchor into the present moment. So if you can just focus on your breath and focus awareness on your natural breath is an amazing practice. So, you know, unless you practice yoga or do mindfulness techniques, maybe it's something you've not done before. So this is a really good thing to start with. There's many types of breathing you can do, but they become a bit more complex to explain. But for someone who's totally new to this, just awareness of your natural breath, focusing on the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe in and out. And maybe if you're practicing at night time, if you have trouble sleeping, you could breathe in for 4 and breathe out for 6. And this just really calms the mind, and it kicks in the parasympathetic nervous system, so you start to calm down, and it helps with a good night's sleep as well. And then I think another thing is, if you're ever feeling to use this body awareness tool that I like to sometimes use in classes, and if you ever have a pain or like a discomfort or just something, you've got a headache or something like that, something's not right in your body, try not to just say, oh, this hurts. Try and use the tactic or the tool to say like exactly how it feels. And instead of using it's pain or it hurts, try and think, like scan your body and just try and find like a label for exactly where it is and exactly how it feels. So maybe it's like shoulder pain, and maybe you just say, okay, it feels like heat, or it feels like kind of tingling or something like that. And if you use this labeling, you're not resisting it as much as if when you say, oh, this hurts, you know, this is painful. You're just being objective and labeling, and that's quite a powerful tool to use every day. And then, you know, obviously, if you can do some of the asana, the postures of yoga each day, then that's amazing as well, because you're starting with to move the body to really create a strong body, and then you can have a strong mind. So if you can start with a, you know, at-home practice, maybe you just, if you don't want to go to a class yet, search on YouTube or just do some gentle postures every day, and you'll really notice the difference. And when you're in each posture, have awareness of your whole body, of how it feels, and you'll definitely feel the difference each day. Yoga is quite confusing because it's there's loads out there in the media at the moment about, oh, yoga's really good for you, and then you go to look to do a class and you're like, oh my god, what do I do? Because there's all these different types, and what you like will be completely personal to you. I teach Ashtanga yoga, which is a very physical yoga practice. It's the idea behind it is that you really heat up the body to eliminate all the toxins. So we sweat a lot in Ashtanga yoga, release the toxins to purify the body, and then the idea is you purify the body and then you purify the mind. So I teach Ashtanga, but I also teach a vinyasa flow class, which is kind of has evolved from Ashtanga, which has been around for a very long time. And vinyasa just means movement with breath. So you could go to a vinyasa flow class and it could be very simple and basic, or it could be quite tough and physically demanding. So it's always good to ask before you go, what level is it, and see if it's going to suit you. You also have Hatha yoga, which is holding postures for longer than you would do in Ashtanga or in Vinyasa flow. And Hatha is the original type of yoga, and it's kind of what 2,000-3,000 years ago the yogis in Rishikesh in India, they came up with Hatha yoga, holding postures for about 30 seconds to a minute. And lots of different postures, but not necessarily linked together in a flow, in a movement, not moving with the breath. And there are so many others. Sometimes I teach a restorative yoga class. I've been really enjoying that recently because it's holding postures for 5 minutes and using lots of props and blankets and bolsters and getting really deep into a pose, but being kind of really supported, and that's nice for people who just need that support, need to feel that it's a bit more kind of caring. I don't know, it depends what you need from a yoga class. I think you just need to try them. I think you need to go into a class and try different types of yoga, and if you go to a yoga class and you don't like it, don't be put off yoga, because there's so many different types, there's so many different teachers. Maybe the teacher you didn't have a connection with the teacher, and that's so important as well. So don't think yoga's not for me. Find out what type it was, and decide what you didn't like about it. And if it was that you found it too quick or too physically demanding, maybe go to a softer class, a restorative yoga class, a yin yoga class, Hatha, something more gentle. So I think you just need to try and work out what you like. I offer Ayurvedic yoga massage, which is it's a type of massage which incorporates deep tissue massage with oil massage and with passive yoga stretching. So what we do in a session is you'd lie on the floor. I have a mattress, like a thin mattress, and it's done on the floor so that I can move around easily when we do the yoga stretching. And it starts with an oil massage. I use coconut oil, and then once I've used the coconut oil, I use calamus root powder, which is an Ayurvedic herb, and you sprinkle this on the skin, and then this really, once I start to rub this in, it exfoliates, but it also improves the circulation, and it heats the muscles, so the muscles become soft. And then I start the deep tissue massage so that you can really work into the muscles, work out the knots, work out the tensions. And then there is the yoga stretching. It's totally passive on the client's part. So I move the body and you would remain completely relaxed. And this really opens up the body. So we've done the deep tissue massage, we've warmed up the muscles, and it really opens up the body. It can remove any imbalances posturally or just even emotional imbalances as well. It's very deep, and people can experience a lot of release, and it becomes a kind of moving meditation between me and the client. It becomes this kind of very beautiful moving meditation. And we use breath work as well, so some of the stretching can be quite deep, and it depends what kind of session the person wants. So if they just want a nice relaxing soft session, then we won't go so deep. But if people want to really go quite deep, then we can do some stronger yoga stretching, and we use the breath work as kind of a communication. So synchronized breathing in and out through the nose, and I'm listening to the breath to hear how they're feeling it. Is this okay? Is this are they at their edge now? And you hear the breath, you hear it in the breath, and then you release. So the breath definitely makes it this kind of moving meditation, which is nice. And I have a treatment room where I live, which is in Hertfordshire, in Tring. But I also do home visits, so I'm in London quite a lot as well. And I have my mattress which I bring, and I can come to people's house as well. I teach yoga at a studio in Hertfordshire in Tring. I teach every Monday Ashtanga yoga, and then I also teach at a art gallery in Hackney as well. And I've got classes coming up in March, but you need to check my website for that because there's been a change in the schedule. So it's worrymodeyoga.com, and you could check the classes on my website or drop me an email to find out when the classes start. And I do workshops as well, so I always do like a different workshop, and I've got one coming up with a friend who is a Reiki practitioner and a tantric massage tantrika, and we're doing a chakra workshop on the heart chakra, and we'll do some heart opening yoga, and we'll do some deep guided meditations, and we'll also do some tantric meditations as well. And everyone receives Reiki and yoga nidra practice, and that's on the 4th of March in Hackney.